About the historical, I do not belong to that generation that knows and that has an in-depth knowledge of the past. But one thing that I know is that I grew up and I went to a federal government college, and everybody was people that were my friends simply because we got to know each other. There was no issue of religion or ethnicity or anything as such. And for me, I think that unless we start to blur those lines and we start to close the gap, it's not about, Tukur was saying in his interview, which I watched again, it was like, as long as people...
Hold on, please just hold it first. We have Yang from Abuja. Hello, Yang.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Yang.
Yeah, this is Yang, not Yang.
Okay, sorry, Yang.
Yes, Yang Logan from Abuja.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. I concur with all that has been said on both the two speakers and the speaker from Abuja. But I would like to state here that this issue...
Gavin, we're having a power back. Can you just turn down the volume of your TV set?
It's off.
Okay. Go ahead.
This killings on the Plateau, I'm from Banking from Fan in particular, and it's affected, I've lost people, relatives, and so on. I would like to say here that the issue is strictly religious. It's nothing to do with land ownership, it's nothing to do with cattle rustling. It's strictly religious, and it's about dominance. Fulani people are trying to take the land by force. And it's strictly religious. It's in their religious dogma to dominate people and take people's properties, their land, their life, as long as they don't concord to Islam. So whatsoever is discussed out here, people should know that this issue is strictly religious. Thank you.
Thank you, Gian. He's very passionate. He's lost relatives and loved ones.
Yes, in my family we've lost so many as well. We just buried one 2 days ago, so I can understand how he feels. I have wept many times as a result of this. I mean, funerals are a lifestyle now in Plateau State.
He says that the reasons are religious.
Again, you cannot really separate the religious undertone to this, because remember the crisis that took place in 2001 had a religious, again I said, as a result of politics, because there were Muslims in Plateau State. There are Birams who are Muslims. You know, there are people from the southern part of Plateau State who are Muslims as well. So in terms of religion, it was not as pronounced until the politics came into being. And as we know how our politicians are, they would say whatever to get the vote. And so, of course, just like in football, if you're a Man U fan, you're more likely to take sides with a Man U fan and not an Arsenal fan. That is what is going on. And so, like I was saying, going back to the issue of human rights and some of these issues, if we had to go back to where we're coming from, then very urgent, visible, decisive steps have to be taken. For instance, now, you know, when Tukur says it's unfortunate what is happening, I would expect something more affirmative from him, not it's unfortunate. That's not good enough. Because if you see the way the killings are done, people's brains are smashed in two. They will shoot you and hack you. Let me not even go that graphic. And so it is not, I expect the leaders, and thankfully, you know, our president today, who was voted into office based on his moral standing, and thankfully he said he belongs to everyone and he belongs to no one. So we would expect that he would stand up and condemn this killing and say killings and let it stop so that the peace process can begin.
Okay. Tukur, as we wind down, solutions.
Yes, First of all, I think let me just restate, what the former chairman said and what my sister Kate had said. I have interacted with a lot. In fact, the last visit that I undertook in that park, in areas of Bariki, Ladi, and Riom, I did it in close contact with a friend who, incidentally, a classmate and a lawyer, and who invited me to look at the problems there. I went and we went around that area. So I think we as elites should, temper the kind of language we use not to exacerbate the situation, and then, try to find solutions to it. I can understand the passion. I am not here to take responsibility or to, defend or say. What I am here to do is trying to find solution to it. Let me go back to what I said about the failure of leadership. If you can remember, the chairman said when he invited the ARPO doesn't come, because when you come, the perception has always been, that there is bias, and then unless if you take away that bias, people will be hesitant to come for meetings that they may not show, they may not show what will be the end result. If you can remember, President Obasanjo even had to, put down the state structures that time. Last year, when we had a meeting on pastoralism and insecurity in Kaduna, in the presence of almost all the service chiefs, it was acknowledged Governor Jang, who was then the governor of Plateau State, never had any meeting with the Fulani community. He has been having meetings. So these are the kind of things, people who are saddled with responsibilities should, try to do it dispassionately without bias. Coming to what are the solutions now, I think I am aware and I know as the fact that the current governor of Plateau State has put up structures that will bring about peace. First of all, he set up a committee of Birom elders and Birom community leaders. He also set up a committee of Fulani leaders and Fulani community leaders. They separately had meetings with him, and then separately they also had meetings between them. For the very first time in almost 14 years, we had the Biroms and the Fulani sitting on the same table to look at what are the problems that we are having in that area. So I think if these are the kind of structures, peace structures that are being put in place, we should try to take advantage of them, and not to try to go back. Like I said, I can, the loss of any human life, due to wanton violence is condemnable. That is not in doubt. And talking about the president also set up a committee to bring, short, medium, and long-term strategies to end farmer-pastoralist conflict in Nigeria. I was a member of that committee. We have come up with the solution. We have submitted it. So I think we need to take up structures that are being put in place and then temper the kind of language we use, in order not to exacerbate the situation. That is why we are here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As a wine now, Mr.
Yes, I think
Your last word and the way forward.
The way forward. The Plateau State government have to speak. Mr. President have to speak. Speaking here means stopping the killings on the plateau, because government have the machinery to stop these killings. If not, it means institutions are not working. I strongly believe that the SSS are doing their work, and the National Security Advisor have all this information on his table, and they are on Mr. President's table. I remember when there was this chlorine immersion in Jos. The next day, Mr. President sent a committee for the federal government to go and investigate. Only 8 people were killed in that incident. Now we have a situation whereby hundreds and thousands of people have been killed. The President has said nothing. My colleague just said that the Plateau State government has set a committee and that he has been visiting the President to discuss this issue. What we want to see results. It's not discussing these issues. Let us see the result of all this discussion. So the President has to speak, the Plateau State government has to speak. We are speaking that the killings should be stopped, because we cannot continue to kill.
On the immediate term, while committees are being set up, an average of 10 people are dying. That is not good enough. Something has to be done, and something has to be done now. The killings have to stop now. And then a restoration of trust, because the people do not even trust the security agencies that have been set up to protect them. There has to be a community effort. They have to be, it's a collective responsibility. And then lastly, I would say, for the widows and the orphans and the children that need to go to school, this is a violation of their fundamental human rights. The trauma centers have to be set up for these people. Care has to be given to them. Those that have been displaced, they have to be taken care of.
Thank you. Mr. Tuko, do you have anything to say? In 10 seconds.
Just to add that, my sister Ken had put it up, let's take up the structures. Like I said, I did not say discussion. I didn't have any discussion with the president. I said he set up the committee. The committee has submitted a report. We have had this severally, and then we are seeing new initiatives. We are seeing new efforts. We should try to take advantage of these new initiatives and new efforts to bring about peace in Plateau State.
Thank you. Mr. Tuko, who is a legal advisor on Mieti Allah, joined us from our Abuja studios to look at the peace in Jos and Plateau, precisely. Kate Pam, who is the Plateau Speaks, a peace advocacy group. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And Dr. Simon Markan, the former member of the House of Representatives. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So I'd like to be back in a moment to look at some other issues. Don't go away.